Hello and welcome to Pisces Moon Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Kate Leonard, and I'm excited to explore the stars with you. Hi everyone. Welcome to the week of July 27th through August 2nd. I cannot believe how fast this year is going, but I can believe that we've got a lot of Venus action this week. That means if you're interested in love, relationships of any kind, money, art, all my creative friends, my writers, my content creators, this week is for you. There's a whole ton of Venus and it's interesting energies. So hang out with me for a while and let's talk about it. All right, so the main event this week is on July 31st, Venus is going to move into Cancer. That's already like a wonderful energy, the goddess of love moving into emotional, nurturing, protective Cancer. This is just going to be a really nice season of Venus. But the minute she crosses that line, she is going to form a tense aspect with both Saturn and Neptune, who are both still retrograde in Aries. So I know that doesn't sound like the kind of Venus thing you want to hear about, but I promise you it actually is. Venus in a square in any kind of a tense aspect is not bad. Right? Venus just can't be bad, really, unless she's in a medical chart, and then she can kind of make you crave sugar a whole lot. Venus in a square or opposition, that kind of thing, is really usually just going to mean that you have to work for it a little bit, or there's something you have to overcome first before you get the full Venusian kind of glory. So we're going to talk about that, but there's other stuff going on first. I know a whole lot of you are like, Kate, we love Venus, but what about the Lion's Gate portal? Though the exact Lion's Gate is on August 8th, the portal itself opens on July 26th. I'm going to do a bonus episode on that because that's kind of its own gigantic thing, and we'll talk about it. So I promise you a Lion's Gate portal bonus episode is absolutely coming. But the Venus ingress into Cancer and the aspect she's making to Saturn and Neptune is really important. So I want to cover that. I'll give you the bonus episode for sure. And I always like to tell you the other things that are going on this week in case you want to do your own research on those. On July 30th, Chiron is joining the retrograde party. He will be stationing to start going retrograde through Aries. Chiron retrograde can have to do with going back over old traumas or old fears. These may be things that we feel like we've already done the work, we've already taken care of everything, and we might find that a deeper level of healing is available to us. And I know sometimes when I bring up that we might need to do more healing work, I get a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, I am so done. Do I have to go back and revisit those things again? Chiron retrograde is usually not one that you have to go back and do. It's not quite as overt as some of the retrogrades. I usually find that we have the opportunity to do deeper healing. So don't worry if you're kind of just not into it. And it doesn't have to happen this week because he's not turning direct until January 2nd. So you've got time to work with that energy. Just kind of be aware it's going on. On the 31st, the sun is going to be conjunct the retrograding Mercury, and that is a time when Mercury gets renewed. However, we won't be seeing any of the benefits of this kind of recharge that Mercury is going to go through until he comes out from under the sun's beams, which just happens to be the exact day he's turning direct, and that'll be August 11th. So look for, the sun and Mercury, this is inspired ideas, but even with that inspiration that's very probably going to come, don't expect that you'll be able to do a whole lot with it until August. All right. So I hope that's all helpful. Now let's get into Venus. So one of the truly kind of wonderful things that is going to start impacting us right from the beginning when Venus crosses into Cancer is she's going to be in the same sign as the greater benefic Jupiter. So this is the greater and lesser benefics together in the same sign. Oh my goodness, that is a whole lot of blessings going on. Now, she's not going to be conjunct with Jupiter until August 12th, but truly just having these two in the same sign is huge. Venus in Cancer is brilliant energy for deepening love because Cancer's the nurturer and the protector. So really deepening our love, experiencing profound creativity, and even an intuitive sense about how to increase our net worth, right? Because Venus has to do with money. So how do we nurture our finances? Think of Cancer. How do we increase our nest egg, right? That's exactly Venus in Cancer. Jupiter is the great expander. How do we make all of this stuff bigger, deeper, more profound? This is going to be just such a brilliant time. I love it a lot. Don't forget, August 12th, they go exactly conjunct, and let the blessings roll. Trust me, I'll be doing an episode on that. This energy is going to be available to us, the Venus in Cancer energy, through August 25th. She changes signs on the 26th. I'm loving this. This is really good. Now, remember that even just this much, I'm going to get to Saturn and Neptune, I promise, but I wanted to give you a little bit of help with the house breakdown because how this is going to impact us is going to have a lot to do with what house Cancer holds in your chart. So remember, if Cancer is your first house, that is going to be about self-love, nurturing self, all of that. Second house is really going to be that nest egg, nurturing and protecting your finances. Third house is communication, community, siblings. That's where you're going to be putting your nurturing. Fourth house is home and family. That speaks for itself. Fifth house, you writers, creatives, artists, if you've got this transit going through your fifth house, that's creativity, children, leisure time, all of those kinds of things. The other thing, because I know a lot of writers tell me all the time, I'm with writers a lot, and they'll say, well, yeah, that's great. I mean, you say this stuff for the creatives, but I mean, Cancer's not my fifth house. Is Venus the ruler of your fifth house? So for everybody, I'm going to stop and I promise I'm going to get to the other houses, but don't just look at where Cancer is. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. So what she's doing is going to have impact in those areas too. So look to see where's Taurus, where's Libra, where's Cancer. All of those are going to get some Venus vibes this week, all right? Sixth house, this is, on one hand, this is our health. Nurture your own physical well-being. It's also pets. So put some nurturing and protective energy into your fur babies, fin babies, if you're like me, feather babies, whatever your babies are, put that nurturing in there. Seventh house is your primary relationship. Now, again, if your seventh house is in Cancer and you're one of those people really wanting to work on relationship this week, is your seventh house Taurus? Is it Libra? Or is Venus making an aspect to a planet there? You gotta look at your natal chart. Eighth house has a lot to do with mental health, especially trauma and fear issues, but it's also things like investments and combined resources. Ninth house is spirituality and educational pursuits and also foreign travel. So those would be the things that you're nurturing through this period. 10th house is career. That speaks for itself. 11th house is friends, your tribe, groups that you are connected to. It's a good time to get together with friends through this whole Venus transit and just take care of each other, enjoy each other. 12th house has to do with mental health, rest, alone time. This is a perfect transit for going on like some kind of a retreat, whether that's a literal like meditation retreat or whether that's maybe just getting out into nature and giving yourself a little time to really just be okay. That's 12th house. So anyway, that's just Venus in Cancer kind of stuff. I hope that's helpful. But remember to look at the houses she rules and remember to see, is she making any aspects to your natal planets? Okay, now let's get into Saturn and Neptune because I don't want this going too long. So for both of these planets, I mean, Saturn, while I actually love Saturn a lot, he's the planet that allows us to reach the top. He gives us stamina. He gives us the ability to work hard to reach goals. He brings the kind of wisdom that comes from experience, unlike Jupiter's wisdom that is a sort of spiritually downloaded kind of wisdom. Saturn is wisdom from the school of hard knocks, right? It's that wisdom that we earn because of our experiences. I love Saturn, but the ancients did call him the greater malefic. I don't agree with that at all. I actually don't like Neptune. And I think if the ancients had known Neptune, they would have agreed with me that he's horrible. But Saturn gets that moniker. And let's talk about it. What my clients in general don't like about Saturn usually is that he says slow down. Saturn isn't after quick results. He's after solid results. There's nothing wrong with that, but none of us wants to wait. I get it. I totally get it. So what's he doing this week? He's saying with Venus to put the brakes on for a minute. And there's another reason to do that too, having to do with Neptune. So hold that thought about why we might want to take a pause this week. He's saying, slow down. Let's make sure this relationship, creative project, job, whatever it is, let's make sure that it's what we want. Saturn's in Aries. What do I want? Let's make sure that it's truly what we want. Let's make sure it's stable and strong and will stand the test of time. Those are all Saturn things, right? Saturn's not a flirt. Saturn wants a relationship that's going to go the distance. Saturn wants you to examine that relationship and see, do we need to fix it, ditch it? What do we need to do with this? Or is it exactly what we want, but it was worth contemplating for a little bit? Sometimes we cling to relationships, to whatever, a job, whatever it is. We sometimes cling just because it's the thing we know. And breakups and endings of any kind are just usually not that much fun. Who wants to do that? It's just sometimes easier to stay in than go through the kind of yuck of getting out. The other reason we sometimes stay in relationships that aren't really the best is because we're scared about what comes next. Saturn is saying, take this week and just slow down a little bit. Take a break, go to that meditation retreat or something. Because before you go into that Venus deepening, Venus in Cancer, deepening, nurturing mode with this relationship, why don't you make sure it's truly the right one for you? Or tweak it in ways. It may be Saturn rules boundaries. It may be that you just need to redefine it a little bit, and then it will be the right one. So I'm not saying everybody's going out and breaking up, quitting jobs, whatever it is, trashing their, pressing delete on their former manuscript. None of that. It's just a time to go a little bit slow and kind of let yourself look at it a bit. And not just that, because we've got Neptune. The other reason to slow down, I hate Neptune. I'm just going to say it straight up. People go, Kate, you shouldn't say you hate things. No, I should. I hate Neptune. Not always. I have to admit that once in a wild blue moon, he does a good thing, but I don't like him. Anywho, enough of that. Neptune is conjunct Saturn, so he's making the same square to Venus that Saturn is. And Neptune is making things difficult to see. So while Saturn is saying get clear, take a little minute and get some clarity, Neptune's saying, like, yeah, try doing that underwater with your vision all distorted. Okay? So it's just a good week to take things slow. Take things slow and let yourself feel into them. Neptune is water. Cancer is water. So it's a very good time to go slow and let your intuition guide you. Don't only think, Saturn won't like me saying this, but don't only think about what's right. Also feel it, but let yourself have that time to really know what you feel so that you know you're accessing your deep feelings, not just your first feelings. All right. Now let's get on to the good part about Saturn, because it's not only this slow down, take a break thing. Because I know you would all go, could you really decided to tell us about this? Instead of about Lion's Gate, you picked this Saturn thing? But Saturn also brings seriousness and weight to the Venus topics. Venus can be a little frothy. You know, she likes a good bubble bath, this girl. Saturn says, no, we're going to solidify this. So if you take your time and get to that place that Saturn's asking you to get to, let me be clear. Venus says, let's go deep. Saturn says, yeah, you've put in the work, you've put in the time. Let's make it super solid. So this is a time when we might see relationships not only getting very, very deep, but getting more serious or solid, meaning people making commitments to things like in a job, signing the contract, putting a ring on it, if that's your thing, or renewing your vows, or moving in together, buying your first house even. You know, it's that thing about really setting the structure in place and yeah, just bringing a seriousness to whatever this Venus topic is that you're dealing with. And then we've got that better side of Neptune coming in, who is dreams and imagination and fantasy. So we've got Neptune saying, dream your dream, and Saturn saying, and make it so. And Venus saying, and let's do it with love and nurturing, and let's go really deep. Let's feel into this. How good is that, everyone? How good is that? So whether you're deepening your relationship with your poodle or your mother or your lover or your manuscript, I think this is going to be so great. Just have the patience to start this week a little slow, right? Just a little slow. That's all I got to say. I hope this was helpful. I skipped that whole part at the beginning, which is like, thank you for being here. So now I will just say thank you for staying here. Please do me a solid and leave a good rating, share the podcast. I would be so, so grateful. And yeah, I always hope that what I share with you is helpful. I'll be coming in with a bonus episode on Lion's Gate. Yeah. And until next week, go out and seize the energies of the stars. This is my wish for you always. And until I'm back on here, bye.